Chapter 33. Autumn's Purity. Winds of Integrity. 1985 to 1986. From the moment I met Kuling, it felt like observing white clouds slowly drift across a vast blue sky, carefree, unconfined, and untouched by deceit. Her genuine nature enveloped me, reminiscent of sunlight piercing through winter's ice, gradually melting the icy detachment I had become accustomed to. Life felt so pure and simple, devoid of games or power struggles. Only warmth and honesty prevailed. My colleagues noticed it even before I was ready to acknowledge it. That joyful innocence, the effortless laughter, the kindness given without expectation. They rallied to start their enthusiastic matchmaking campaign, eager to connect me with a blessing I had yet to see. Yet, like all fairy tale heroines, her simplicity was not born from a sheltered existence. Resilience and struggle molded her journey. In high school, Kuling experienced her first taste of romance. A senior classmate, already a local legend, captured municipal and even national headlines for heroically saving a runaway cow from the train tracks, risking his life to avert disaster. The newspapers celebrated him as a hero. Remarkably, not only did I still recall his story, but I also had the opportunity to meet him in this bustling city of 10 million, despite our schools being miles apart. I vividly recalled meeting him at a municipal Red Guards rally, where he shared his thrilling rescue story on stage. That hero eventually expressed his feelings for Kuling. Young and idealistic, she admired him profoundly. Who could blame her? They embarked on what was referred to as a high school friendship, a nascent romance characterized by the shy politeness of that time. However, as graduation approached, he revealed a secret.
"For you,"
he said to Kuling,
"I've chosen to remain in Shanghai rather than go to the countryside."
She was taken aback, not flattered, not moved. She felt disappointed. The relationship ended immediately. Why? I inquired. She answered without delay.
First,
she stated,
refusing Chairman Mao's call to go to the mountains and countryside indicated a lack of ideological commitment. Second, it signaled that he feared hardship, a coward who wouldn't make sacrifices. Third, claiming he stayed for me. That wasn't noble. That's selfish. That's bourgeois sentiment.
Her voice was resolute, her tone nearly militant. I gazed at her, astonished. Sweet, gentle Kuling calling it quits with a national hero for not aligning with her moral standards? She met my gaze with steady seriousness. She hadn't loved out of infatuation. She had loved with principle. At 16 or 17, she had already chosen ideals over intimacy, duty over desire. I sat in silence, then pressed further. But wasn't he right, too? If he had gone, he would have lost his city residency. He would have been forced to leave you behind forever. Didn't that mean he was making a sacrifice for you? She paused. A faint cloud crossed her features.
I never thought about it that way. I just thought a real man should have courage. He should keep his word. He should never run away.
Kuling's romantic past did not improve after she met the heroic deserter. Instead, it grew more complicated, painful, and harsh. Her gentle beauty and naturally kind heart attracted admirers like a lantern attracts moths. One by one they appeared, declaring love and pledging devotion, all convinced they understood their desires, but few truly saw her. After her breakup with the Red Guards hero, a new contender appeared, a talented neighborhood tailor famed for his skillful hands and sharper mind. He earned a decent living early on, being practical, wise, and stable, a rarity at the time. Yet he lacked ambition and vision. Worse, he easily harbored resentment towards her. He disapproved of her evening classes, her passion for literature, and her aspiration to rise above the world's expectations.
Why do you need more?
He would question, his voice tinged with skepticism.
Isn't being with me and the money I make enough?
His affection morphed into control. He started dictating her schedule, movements, and life, constraining her expansive spirit to a small, stuffy room where only he could truly exist. Eventually, suffocating beneath his restrictions, she tried to leave. He threatened suicide.
If you walk away, I'll end my life.
It wasn't love. It was emotional manipulation. Although she managed to break free, she bore the scars of yet another nightmare. Yet the worst was to come. The guy that she told me about on our first date in the People's Park. By the time I met Qiuling, she had already gone through what I would later refer to as her three-part tragedy of love. Act 1. The hero, revealed to be a deserter. Act 2. The artisan, who transformed into a tyrant. Act 3. The lover, exposed as a fraud. 10 years. 3 heartbreaks. Each one deeper than the last. It would have been easy for her to learn the lesson of her suffering becoming jaded, skeptical, and self-protective. No one would have blamed her for deciding that love was a battlefield she no longer wanted to fight. If she had renounced love entirely, choosing instead to build her life alone and shield herself with armor forged from past betrayal, then perhaps the Qiuling I knew would never have come to be. But that's the miracle she was. She didn't grow harsh. She grew resilient. She didn't turn cold. She stayed warm. Even as she stood on the edge of the Huangpu River, driven there by despair, she never relinquished one belief. Her faith in goodness, kindness, beauty, and hope. Qiuling's innocence was not naivete. It was not the lack of experience. It was the presence of something rarer. She believes. She has her moral clarity. She didn't twist her values to fit affection. She didn't betray her standards for the sake of comfort. She believed in what was right, and she lived by it, even when love was on the line, especially then. And in that, she was not just someone who had been loved. She was someone worthy of a legend. She was not the damsel in distress. She was the heroine who never stopped choosing mercy, even when the world gave her every reason not to. She was my lighthouse, my heart, my heroine. One evening, as we strolled through the quiet streets, enjoying our casual conversation, Qiuling abruptly halted at a corner. She faced me, her expression unusually serious, and posed the question. I have a question. What do you think is the best thing in this world? And what about the worst? I paused, surprised by her change in tone. This sudden solemnity felt out of place for the girl who had always joyfully twirled beneath falling autumn leaves with me. The best? The worst? I repeated, unsure. Do you mean people or things?
Just answer the question,
She insisted.
Seriously?
She looked at me as if this were a decisive moment, some hidden test that might determine my worthiness. I fumbled for a response, nervous and uncertain. What kind of riddle was this? As I was still mumbling, she couldn't wait.
It's people. The best thing in the world is people. And the worst thing is also people.
Her voice was clear and steady, radiating conviction like a gentle thunder. It was a simple statement, yet profoundly deep. At only 25, Qiuling had uncovered a truth that philosophers have grappled with for centuries. This same paradox resonates in Scripture. Humans are created in God's image, capable of immense love and kindness, yet flawed by sin and the potential to harm. Wasn't this what made Qiuling extraordinary? Despite all odds, she maintained her belief in humanity. She endured heartbreak, deception, and betrayal, yet never allowed bitterness to take root. In her strict, militarized home, having a boyfriend was unimaginable, almost like treasonous. Thus, she maneuvered her romantic life like an undercover agent. Her father would never permit her to cross the border, as she said. In the eyes of the world, she appeared single. Beautiful, competent, and virtuous, definitely someone deserving of a suitable match. Thus, the matchmaking commenced. Kewling, hesitant to reject her suitors directly, offered only ambiguous, non-committal answers. At one point, she confided in me.
I used to dream of simply digging a hole and hiding in it.
Yet, she found no way to escape. When confronted with a Hong Kong businessman, he glanced at her and told the matchmaker,
I'm too short. I don't suit her.
Kewling felt a sense of relief, another situation avoided. However, the next suitor, the son of a prominent official, wasn't easily dissuaded. Even though Kewling wore her mother's old, ill-fitting garments to appear plain, he was still entranced. He could not grasp her reluctance.
If you're not interested,
He inquired.
why did you agree to meet me?
Even years later, Kewling would reflect.
He was a good man. I feel guilty. I must have deceived him in some way.
Then, genuinely confused, she would ask,
What could he see in me? I looked so terrible.
That was Kewling entirely honest, painfully direct, even in a world that favored cunning. Her innocence didn't arise from ignorance. It was a testament to her integrity. She was still gentle, despite the many reasons life offered to become hardened. Looking back, it might seem like an unseen force connected us. However, 10 years before our paths crossed, a single misstep, just one moment of doubt, could have kept us as strangers indefinitely. Kewling never required much in love. Honesty, bravery, accountability, and a desire to grow. What distinguished her was that she embodied those values, never asking for more than what she offered. That's what made her remarkable. Kewling means autumn clarity, embodying that essence clear, quiet, and radiant in her beliefs. She infused our love story with the same grace she exemplified, steady, selfless, and deeply sincere. A memorable moment occurred during one of her evening English classes, where she was learning new concept English for personal growth while balancing a full-time job. After work, I cycled across the city to accompany her home. On one such evening, as she emerged from the school building and caught sight of me by my bike, her face lit up with joy. Together, we ventured into the cool night air, enveloped by the familiar sounds of Shanghai's evening vibrancy. Not long into our ride, Kewling turned, flashed a playful grin, and teased,
Other girls are picked up in red flag limousines, and here you are, arriving on a bicycle. How can you be so embarrassing?
Her laughter was light, like wind chimes swaying in the evening breeze, tinged with playful mischief. I immediately recognized that the one she referred to as other girls was actually herself. The person driving red flag limousines was a mutual acquaintance, a military officer at the Yan'an Hotel, a prestigious guest house operated by the Nanjing Military District. As a driver for high-ranking generals, he had the privilege of using the iconic red flag limousine, a status symbol for China's elite. Sharing a natural bond of camaraderie, he was also a fellow Shanghainese, much like Kewling. Her teasing remarks lingered in the air. I smirked and pedaled onward. Well, I replied, a bicycle gets us where we need to go, and the view is much better from here. Kewling laughed again, and in that fleeting moment, I knew, no matter how many red flag limousines might have come her way, she had chosen this ride, this path, beside me, with the autumn wind dancing in her hair. Trying to tease her, I asked, Did you ask him to pick you up?
Of course not.
She shot back.
He just showed up. How did I know he'd be driving a red flag?
I gave her a knowing smile. He's pursuing you.
Nonsense. You're imagining things.
She said, flustered for once, her cheeks tinged with pink.
He never said anything like that. He just...
She trailed off, clearly unsettled by the suggestion. After a pause, she added,
Well, he did ask me to introduce him to a girlfriend once, but doesn't he already have one? That telephone operator at the hotel seemed like a good match. Why would he ask me?
As the understanding gradually emerged, I observed her figure it out in real time. Ultimately, that military officer stayed a friend. Owing to Kuling's matchmaking, he married the hotel's telephone operator. Years later, when they welcomed a child, Kuling and I paid a visit to their home. Kuling had a hidden spark and exuberant, playful side that burst into life at the hint of adventure. Suggest something thrilling, and she'd jump at the idea before you could finish speaking. Soon after we started dating, she connected a female classmate with a promising young English teacher from Shanghai International Studies University. I was at the meeting with Kuling. We all became friends. However, after the first meeting, the teacher lost interest in the match and began inviting Kuling to his campus activities, social events, and swimming sessions. Eager to embrace university experiences, Kuling accepted every invitation. She was truly enjoying herself. Once more, I found myself as the voice of reason. I feel that he is probably after you. She rolled her eyes and replied,
That's ridiculous. You're just imagining things. He knows I have a boyfriend, and he knows you.
Yet, as time passed, even Kuling couldn't deny the evidence. Eventually, she admitted,
Maybe I shouldn't go next time if he invites me.
Racked with guilt, she introduced him to her closest classmate from her university. Their connection, however, was short-lived, as the teacher was set to move to America, while her friend wished to remain in China. Years later, after we had settled in America, the teacher finally secured his student visa. At the time he arrived, we were in New York City. We picked him up at LaGuardia Airport, and he stayed with us for a few days in our temporary Brooklyn basement apartment. It was a testament to how friendship can blossom in any situation. There are even more examples like these. It might be love blindness, but to me, Kuling was the kind of woman everyone would fall for. The amusing part was that she couldn't understand why, and that perhaps made her even more charming. Every man from her past recognized her quiet glow, understated beauty, and unique, gentle strength. They admired, pursued, and loved her in their imperfect ways. Yet, ultimately, I was fortunate enough to hold her hand throughout life. I once attempted to communicate this to her, softly expressing that she had always been profoundly valued, even if she hadn't realized it. She looked at me with a mixture of disbelief and wonder, her face lighting up with the pure joy of realization, constantly astonished by the notion that she was ever the focus of admiration and never took for granted. Even the man who had wounded her most deeply, her ex-boyfriend, the arrogant youth league secretary, couldn't fully let her go. Despite the staggering deceit, manipulation, and betrayal that had shattered her trust, he still clung to a fragment of their shared past. We tied the knot on January 1st, 1986. Shortly after our marriage, Kuling's former colleagues organized a traditional housewarming for the newlyweds. One of her close friends confided,
That guy heard about it and wants to attend. Can you believe his nerve?
When Kuling relayed this to me, I saw her hesitation and sadness. I remembered her story from that first date, the scars he had left, and how he had heartlessly broken her spirit. How could he now want to enter our home and intrude on the new life we had just begun together? What shocked me even more was that Kuling didn't instantly refuse. She looked at me, clearly troubled.
What do you think? I don't understand. Why would he do this? Does he want to ruin things between us? Or just humiliate me?
I took a breath and said quietly, Invite him. Her eyes widened. I continued, "This is our home now, our life. If seeing it with his own eyes helps him finally let go, then let him. Let's turn this page together for your peace and closure." The night of the gathering finally came. Qiuling greeted her former co-workers with warmth and elegance, embodying the ideal newlywed hostess. As the guy we expected entered, I recognized him immediately. It was evident in his walk, the arrogance of his stance, and the overconfidence radiating from his eyes. From the moment he entered, he regarded Qiuling as if he still held influence over her, as though she was somehow tied to him despite everything. He tried to dominate the conversation, subtly redirecting it to their past relationship. Her colleagues exchanged uncomfortable glances. They hadn't come for this. They were there to celebrate, not to witness his attempts to reclaim what he had recklessly discarded. I didn't wait for him to overstep further. I took Qiuling's hand and gently ushered her to sit with me across from him. As soon as we settled, his face lit up. He leaned back, a smug chuckle bubbling up.
Oh, Qiuling and I, we go way back. We were together, always side by side. Haha.
I cut him off. "You were her boyfriend, right?" He blinked, taken aback. I locked eyes with him, my voice steady and clear. "On our very first date, Qiuling revealed everything about you. Every word, every detail." I saw it for the first time that evening, a brief glimpse of genuine surprise. His story, his sense of control had dissipated. He hadn't anticipated her sharing that with me. He hadn't expected the truth to reside here already. I leaned in closer. "And I want to express my gratitude. Thank you." His brow furrowed.
Thank me?
"Yes," I replied. "Without your selfishness, greed, and stupidity, I may never have met her. I can't comprehend how you could let someone like Qiuling go. She's so pure, warm, and devoted. But what I know is this: you didn't deserve her. A man who toys with love and treats sincerity lightly will never be worthy of a woman like her." I turned slightly and pointed to the calligraphy piece on our wall, 4 bold characters inscribed by me. "Autumn's purity, winds of honor." "I authored that," I stated. "It conveys exactly what it means." He remained silent for the rest of the evening. After everyone had left, Qiuling faced me, her eyes shimmering with unspoken feelings. She embraced me and murmured,
"Thank you."
That evening, she closed the most painful chapter of her past, and we began a new one together.